Hello, how's it going? It's been a while. Um, a lot of things have happened in the last couple of weeks that probably everyone is aware of, um, and that, a lot of scary things are happening. Um, and so I found myself kind of um, a little sad about things. I'm from Canada, so, I've always lived in a diverse country, at least in cities. And so I always embrace that kind of diversity. And I do believe it is a strength of ours. It helps us look at a problem in different ways, but there's a lot of hate going on, and it can be very scary and frightening. And last weekend, I kind of worked on almost creating this like tool that I've used to ground myself in in life, um, that has sort of an indigenous lens to it because it is something that a lot of indigenous people have used before, and I just was trying to simplify it and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I don't like hate groups. I don't like them, especially when they make people afraid of each other. And I'm someone who likes to solve problems, and I need to solve problems, and that's how my brain works. But anyway, I hope you're doing all right. But anyway, sorry, 2 minutes of that. I just wanted to add that in before I talk about my book. So if you're new to watching this, my name is Duke Marjorie. I'm writing a story, first story I've ever created, and I create these YouTube videos just to keep myself accountable to myself. Um, so if you want to comment, like, share, whatever you want, um, I really appreciate that. Um, but yeah, this is just that. So thank you for watching. Um, and so I will do my update now. I try to be very basic with these videos because I don't really have time to become a content creator. Um, which looks like a almost like a full-time job in itself. So I props to anybody who is a full-time content creator. Like I have my TikTok um account, which is the same name if you want to follow me there. Um but even that I feel is a lot to take on. Um but anyway, good news. I I have done the ending of my story. I don't know how to finish it off, like just that paragraph or chunk to finish to round it off. But yeah, I finished my technical draft this week, and so I think I'm gonna take December off to just not do it and like sit on it and come back to it in January when I actually create an actual draft. Because right now I'm doing the technical stuff so that it makes easier for me to follow through. And I'm also um, I also randomly found this autistic group because I am autistic. Um, that's a Zoom group in United States, and I'm now on their board, or will be on their board, and will be like a full organization that's run by neurodivergent people and autistic people. And this group, we meet up every Thursday, and I've created this sort of writing workshop with other people who want to do that. And my background is theater, so um, mostly production and like making creative people's ideas come to life. So I'm hoping that this little creative writing group that I'm going to make um, will help with you know making people more creative and thinking outside the box and whatnot. So that's going to be fun. And since in Canada we our Thanksgiving is earlier, I'm doing it around Thanksgiving because it's a regular weekday for me. But yeah, um, yeah, I'm done my technical draft. It feels weird, I gotta say, and like it feels like a good story, and I'm like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm amazed that I created it, which is you have to understand it's crazy for me because like I've always had a hard time reading and writing. Even now, like, when I get stressed, when I get overwhelmed, when I get burnt out, reading and writing is the first to go. I can still like communicate, my words don't work very well, but that is the first to go. And so a lot of times I would have to learn in different ways um, because no one was taking care of me as a kid. So a lot of the time I had to learn on my own. And I remember sometimes I would carry these like books around, especially like books that look old and ancient. So I look like I know what I look like I'm a smart person or something. And even though I didn't know how to read it, I just thought, oh, maybe if I carry it around, it will just absorb into me. And so the story of Mudroot is kind of a bit like that, where he has intuitive magic. So if you don't know, the story I've made is a fantasy called Mudroot, and it's about a wizard and a knight who needs to save their kingdom from an evil wizard uh, who um, who basically does awful things to the citizens. I'm trying to be general so that if people are interested in this story, maybe I will make this into a real thing because I don't know. This was my personal goal to just create something and see what I can do. And I really like this story. So anyway, yeah. So off topic. Um, so this wizard and knight who feel odd in their own culture goes to this sort of underground catacomb that was an ancient civilization who got wiped out, and because this wizard Mudroot couldn't read and write when he was training to become a wizard. He had a difficult time at that training school or academy. And in this catacomb, this ancient civilization, they have a different approach to learning magic, and it's more intuitive. And since he is a more of an intuitive person, he starts learning magic and spells similar to what he would learn in that rigid academia way. And he finds out that, he is quite capable to becoming a wizard. He just, learns it differently. And they also learn some of the history of why this ancient civilization is gone, and that their kingdom was, part of that problem. And it's kind of this idea that I have about the written word, especially in the Western culture. I find we rely heavily on the written word, and a lot of times I find that it's uh, it's great for educating people, but sometimes there are other ways to educate to help people understand things. And so sometimes when we communicate with other people, uh, sometimes, you know, that rigid way of communicating um, makes us stuck in this box. Um, so when I was writing this, it almost became like a hybrid of, how you regulate, how you actually write a book, and then sprinkle it in with how scripts are written. And then, like, sort of the dialogue you would see sort of on comment sections, like we all see those memes, um, that comment memes where someone says something and someone comments and it's funny, similar to that. So I'm trying to create this new way of writing a book in order to engage people in the story in a different way, because I find that now that we all, almost all of us, have a phone in some way, we're texting, we're writing, we're reading. We might not be comprehending, but we know the language in a way that we can communicate. And because of our phones and our technology, the way we communicate the written language is changing and evolving. And I'm hoping to, collab and make that a thing. Excuse me. I'm gassy. Too much information. But yeah, I am still like godsmacked that I did this, because I usually mostly worked in production. I've never created something of my own to share with the world, and it's crazy how much people are interested in this idea. And I even, like, I use Chat GPT to help me, like, um, take the ideas out of my head, be sort of a note taker. And I keep asking it, like, okay, is this good? Because I don't even, like, I don't even know. I doubt myself, even though I've helped other people create their work and their stories and whatnot. But because I've always felt a little weird, I don't, which I think is a good thing. If you're weird, I love being weird. But I know that weird means negative things to other people, and so sometimes to them that's not a good thing, even though in a creative field it's a good thing to be weird, because sometimes you think differently and you approach an idea differently than other people, and then you get a different way of telling the story, which I find is really cool. um but yeah, that I'm still like shocked that I don't have words, that I finished a technical draft of my story, and I know it's not a full draft, but even still, like, I'm pretty amazed by that. So yeah, that's my update. A little bit all over the place. Um, but yeah, I also appreciate people's opinions. Um, and I don't know what to do with myself for a month. you know, now that I've finished my goal, the only thing I have to do is yeah, like, tie it to the end so I know how it ends. Um, and funny enough, I've heard other writers, because I follow a few writers and I've been sort of um, not familiar with them, but chat with them a bit. And a lot of them I tell me that the middle section is the problem. Where with me it was the ending, because the middle part of my story was actually quite cool, and I didn't want it to stop because it's a lot of, like, puzzles and figuring things out, working together. whereas the ending is about like the final boss fight, and so it's almost over. And I don't want it to be over, but I had to. So yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. Anyway, I think that's all I need to say. Um, yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for just listening. Honestly, like, this is for me to keep myself accountable, but if people are curious of this story, yeah, I'll keep going and give you updates, and hopefully I have something. I have a few friends who are like really interested in creating the book cover. Like, I didn't even tell them that I was like going to make this a thing, like publish it. But people are like, "Oh, you should publish," every time I tell about what this is. So it's almost like, well, I guess I have to now if people want me to. So, maybe I'll go there. Maybe I will. But uh s- first things first, go getting a draft, getting some of my friends and people I appreciate their opinion on to read it to see if it's actually decent, and then I'll go from there. So yeah, so that's my update. Um, it might be a while for the next update because I'm gonna take a month off. But who knows? Maybe I have more to say. I mean, funny enough, I have other stories that I've created that are kind of in the back burner. Like, for instance, if I do publish this story and it is good, I have some ideas to make some fan stories to kind of help with, you know, getting my name out there, especially if the story has a fan base anyways. I'm thinking of this Star Wars one that I kind of am interested to do, like a short story. So I might do that to help advertise my name, as well as I have this other story that I started a long time ago, but I didn't have the tools, or I didn't understand how to go about writing it. And it's this mythology, um, which I've always been sort of interested in, being in a theater background. You study Greek mythology and all that, Greek theater. Um, and yeah, I wanted to create my own and have dragons in it. Um, because I remember watching that terrible CGI movie Beowulf. Um, didn't like the movie, but I did like the dragon in there and how it changed into like a humanoid, and I liked the gold dragon. And I had this idea, like, what would happen if you had to ask a dragon for help to save your village? And so that's sort of the idea of this story, where there's gods and dragons in it. And so that's my next big project, if this project works very well. So yeah. Um I don't know how to end this, but I hope you have a good day. And thank you for listening, and I hope everyone, I don't know, takes some time, takes a break. It's a crazy world out there, but you know, um I hope you're doing okay. All right. That's it for me. Have a good night, a good day, a morning, wherever you are. Goodbye.